I love your hair. The funny thing is, loads of people within the pre-existing fan base had sort of speculated that me and Millie were going to be in it, but no one put two and two together and figured out that we were younger versions of Emma and Olivia, which I think is crazy because the way they figured it out is insane. Can't answer any questions about it. As much as I want to, I can't. But yeah, the way they figured it out was through who we were following on Instagram and who was following us, and like pieced it all together. But then they didn't figure out who we were playing, even though, going off of my Instagram post, I got my hair dyed the same colour as Olivia's, and no one put two and two together, which I think is interesting.
Hi there. Turns out we were able to accurately predict that actresses Emily Carey and Millie Alcock have joined the cast of House of the Dragon. If you've seen my video immediately preceding this one, we predicted that based on who they're following on social media. And they are aware that we predicted this, and she just said in her announcement video. Both of them are active on social media. Both are on Instagram. Emily Carey's a lot more active across multiple platforms. She also has a Twitter, which she doesn't use as much as Insta, but she's also got a TikTok channel because all the kids are on the TikTok these days. And she posted an announcement video of I've Been Cast today on TikTok, a separate announcement video. Check that out. I'm linking it below, where it's her dancing around in front of a screenshot of the headline that she has joined the cast. It's like 30 seconds. It's funny. But later this afternoon, she held an impromptu live stream on her Instagram channel, just telling everyone for like 10 minutes, yes, I've joined House of the Dragon. I'm really excited. I don't think it's saved there, but other fans thought to record it. I don't know how to record that, but clips came out from that. I watched the whole thing live, but I didn't think to record it. Other people did. So shout out to Black Dread and other people like VK, Glenn, Victoria, who helped me find all these connections on Instagram, that they found the connections, send me clips of stuff. But that's a clip from the live stream where she's talking about, yeah, we saw that people had accurately predicted this, but they didn't accurately predict who we were playing. And that's on me, that for some reason, I didn't think they'd be playing younger versions of Rhaenyra and Alicent. Even though I had already said in other videos they're probably going to cast younger ones, it just didn't occur to me with these two. Probably because they're a lot younger in the books and they're aging them up. Like in the Jane Arryn video I made 2 videos before this, I did point out there's probably going to be flashbacks. Maybe this isn't Jane Arryn, this is Emma Arryn, Rhaenyra's mother, or something. And I did warn everyone, but that just didn't click in my head for those two because of the aging up. Because of the way the time skips in the novellas happen, that the Rogue Prince novella, which is going to be the basis for season 1, covers 30 years. So I thought we'd see Rhaenyra as a child and then jump to a scene or two of Emma Darcy playing her as like playing down at pretending to be a 17-year-old when Emma's 28, and then moving ahead from there. But the thing is, and I've talked about this in other videos, Martin wanted to show that this is a medieval society where people are considered adults younger, that the age of adulthood is 16, that characters are having sex in these novels at 13 and 14, and on a societal level, this isn't particularly unusual, that 13-year-olds are like considered their equivalent of 17 by our standards. So this was already infamously an issue with Daenerys in the very first episode of Game of Thrones. She has her wedding night. In the books, she's 13 going on 14, and you can't do that in a TV show that's filmed in the UK. The laws are different from country to country. In other cases, you could have like a 25-year-old playing a 15-year-old and playing down, and okay, well, it's not actually that. In the UK, it's very strictly worded as what matters is the age of the fictional character being portrayed. Doesn't matter how old the actor is. So you legally cannot show a 15-year-old character having sex in a TV show filmed in the UK. I mean, you just can't. And, she's like, again, almost 14 when her wedding to Drogo happens. That's why she got aged up by 2 years. They pushed back the date of Robert's Rebellion from 15 years ago to 17 years ago. By extension, everyone else whose birth is tied to that, like Jon Snow, Robb Stark, everyone else had to be slightly older too. Also because it's harder to work with younger actors. That Arya in the TV show in season 1, they state she's 11 because, well, they didn't want to be dealing, don't work with animals or small children. Well, we don't want to be working with an 8 or 9-year-old. It'd be easier to age up everyone by 2 years. That makes sense. I understand that with really small children. But I talked about this in the preceding video where I was mentioning Millie and Emily, where I said it's a little hard to guess. Where I was thinking, maybe they'd be Helena Targaryen or Joanna Lannister or Allie Blackwood or something. It just didn't occur to me. And I thought, well, they're younger versions playing down, but it just didn't click with it. Maybe they're the main ones. But I mentioned people who were like Allie Blackwood would be 7 years old at the time of Laena Velarion's funeral. And I said, well, maybe they'll have her played by a 15-year-old. And that they're going to do that with a lot of the younger cast members. It complicates everything when they age people up. So Millie Alcock is 20 and Emily Carey is 18. They're probably not playing these characters at 20 and 18. They'd be playing down. That even the 16-year-old Daenerys in the TV episode of Game of Thrones, that she has to be at least 16. Emilia Clarke was like 23 when she filmed that. Okay, so like you'll have a 20-year-old actor playing a 15-year-old or something, or a 16-year-old. That, yeah, because Alicent marries her father, she'd have to be at least 16 on screen. And Rhaenyra is slightly younger than Alicent, but they're going to play around with that. In the books, she's 9 years younger. Interesting point is with Emma Darcy and Olivia Cooke. Emma is playing her stepdaughter, but she's actually 1.5 years older than her. Which makes sense, that the age gap is too small. That they mention in the books, Alicent could never have been her biological mother. She's like an older sister age-wise. It's only a nine-year difference. It wouldn't really change that much if the TV show made the small gap, even more obvious, that maybe TV Rhaenyra is outright older than her stepmother. Or maybe only, I think more like maybe they'll change the gap from 9 years to like 2 years. I won't have a problem with this. I understand you need to age people up. This is a factor. That number probably won't stay the same 9 years. And as I said before, that is a plot point in the books. They say Alicent looks really young for her age. And Rhaenyra looks stressed out. It aged her prematurely. So even though the gap between them is only 9 years, they look even closer in age because Alicent has very youthful looks. A lot like Olivia Cooke. Olivia Cooke's in her late 20s and she's like playing a 16-year-old in Ready Player One. She just has one of those, young apple-shaped faces like that. So I don't have a problem with that. Well, they did that again here, that in their younger versions that would be playing opposite each other in an earlier time period. The young Rhaenyra actress, Millie, is 20, and Emily Carey, the Alicent actress, is 18. That once again, they cast her stepmother is actually 1 year or 2 younger than her. Is this to reflect that they've changed the age gap? It wouldn't change anything if Alicent was outright younger than Rhaenyra by 1 year. Because the plot point that she could never have been her mother kind of enhances the whole she's a gold digger thing. But I'm not really, but I don't have a problem with that, but they'll change that number a little. But the point that Emily Carey made, that why didn't you think I was cast as Olivia Cooke's younger version? Didn't you notice that I dyed my hair color to be the exact same shade as her? Well, no. I'm a guy. I don't notice things like specific hair color. I just think blonde, black, brown, maybe light brown. I don't know the names of the specific makeup dye brands, down to like the specific name of lipsticks, like they have different crayons have very specific names. I'm a guy. I don't notice such things. I notice that your hair is nice and I compliment it, but men, we don't know what we did. I didn't notice that it was shaded. So she thought that was an obvious hint. I didn't. But like I said in my other video, I said I'm a lot more confident in figuring out who's in the cast based on spy photos cross-referenced with who they're following on social media and who's following them. It's a lot. The other half of that is a lot more speculative. Speculating, well, who specifically have they been cast as is a bit more guesswork, and I was wrong on that. But I'm feeling pretty good that we managed to accurately guess through detective work who 3 new cast members are: Graham McTavish, Millie Alcock, Emily Carey. So I'm not going to put as much stress later on as we find out other clues. Here's who I think this person is playing, unless it's really obvious due to their age or their race or something. It's a lot more of a guessing game when it comes to who they're playing. She got me there, but they were impressed with, wow, going on like the House of the Dragon subreddit. They already figured out a month ago that we had joined the cast. This raises all sorts of other questions about how they're presenting the time period. I don't know. Will this just be for one episode, or will it be practically half of the season? And when exactly would the changeover be? Because like the marriage thing, I was thinking of Alicent when I was talking just a minute ago, you can't have a 13-year-old Rhaenyra falling in love with and trying to seduce Kristen Cole on screen in something filmed in the UK. You can't show people younger than 16 having sex on screen. Legally, the fictional character can't be younger than 16. So they probably cast her up so we can see this is the younger Rhaenyra who's infatuated with Kristen and stuff. Maybe Harwin Strong. I'm not sure when exactly would the changeover be between young Rhaenyra and Emma Darcy. The Blacks and the Greens tournament, the iconic moment where they wear different outfits and everyone starts copying them. This raises the question, will that be Emma Darcy or will it be Millie Alcock? I don't think she'll be in that much, though. I get the feeling that whereas Rhaenyra's mother died when she was 6 years old in the books, maybe to give a better performance for all of this, that she died and a year later he remarried to Alicent Hightower. Maybe they're going to make Rhaenyra like 13 when that happens, to make her more of a character. There's no way you could have a 6-year-old playing that. Like Rickon was 6 years old, so maybe her mother will die and she'll be reacting to her father's remarriage when the character is 13, being played by 20-year-old Millie Alcock. I can see that happening. The casting on this is great, though, because now that it's actually been suggested to me, it was just a failure of imagination that I didn't think they'd be playing young Alicent Rhaenyra. I thought they'd be much younger or much older. Side by side, they really did a good casting job on this. They really look like younger versions of Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook. Yeah, not just me saying this, everyone reacting to this in the news is just that they got the angular features of a Targaryen. That's why I thought she was Helena originally. Emily Carey really looks like a young Olivia Cook. So I like to think that these other accurate predictions I made, if I think these people have joined the cast, well, accurate that they joined, not who they were playing, I hope this boosts some credence to the other casting speculations I was making based on the same principles of who's following who. That Ty Tennant is probably playing young Aegon II, that Nenda Narur is probably playing Lena Velaryon, and that I was pretty sure Millie Brady is playing Jane Arryn, though I said there's a chance she's playing Emma Arryn, her aunt. Emma is Rhaenyra's mother. I'll explain that, because of the relative age range, that there's Emma Darcy and Olivia are in their late 20s, and these younger actresses are all around 18 to 20-ish. There's a 10-year, roughly decade gap between the two of them. I went over all this in the other one I had a list of who are female characters in this time period and their rough age range. That Jane Arryn is roughly the same age as Rhaenyra, whereas in contrast, like Allie Blackwood is much younger. We actually don't know how old Joanna Lannister was, but I don't think she was the same age as Rhaenyra. Trying to figure out, well, okay, is this young Joanna Lannister or adult Rhaenyra? That when the ages overlap like that first decade of her father's rule, you'd see teenagers playing Rhaenyra and Alicent. Second decade of his rule, you'd be seeing 20-somethings playing them, and a teenager playing Joanna Lannister. Or did they cast older Joanna just later? It's jumbling the timelines like that. It'll make sense when we actually see it. It's just we have to deal with their casting people across multiple time periods. A lot of people shorthand this as saying, we'll see flashbacks. We might, but I think it would be a lot simpler if they just present the show in chronological order without a lot of flashbacks. I mean, they might even have flashbacks in season 2 just to go, hey, here's the actors you really liked from season 1 making a cameo. But I think it'll be like Natalie Dormer's old show, The Tudors, where it's just a couple of years pass between each episode. Because think about how confusing it would be if they had flashbacks between 2 time periods when the first period isn't that exciting. It's mostly set up. There's just chronological order. They get through the young teenage Rhaenyra and Alicent by like episode 4 or something, and then move on to the other ones and just transition in there. So I'm excited about this. Lend some credence to my other predictions. Also excited that she was probably reading the House of the Dragon subreddit where I was posting all this a month ago, and then the video, that they know this is how we found it. And very briefly, I want to run over some quick notes on other people we recently noticed who are being followed by multiple cast members who have been confirmed, or following and being followed by. These are other people I haven't mentioned before. And very quickly, I'm not even going to waste time going into full videos speculating on the role, because, again, that was always more tentative and I wasn't very good at it, as it turned out. Other people we've noticed, really quickly. Amber Anderson follows and is followed by Olivia Cooke on Instagram. All this is on Instagram. And is in turn followed by Millie Brady and Tom Glynn Carney, who we're suspecting are also cast members. Age 29. I mentioned Jane Arryn before, that I used to think Millie Brady was a lock to play Jane Arryn because she's the same age as Emma Darcy. Also possible they're having her played across multiple time periods. That what if Amber Anderson, who is 29, same age as Rhaenyra, what if Amber is playing Jane and Millie Brady is playing Emma? That it is amazing looking at these side-by-side shots. Look how much Amber Anderson looks like Millie Brady. But Millie Brady's a pretty big actress doing movies and stuff. I don't know if she'd be that much of a regular. People pointed out to me, what if she has scheduling conflicts versus Amber Anderson isn't as big of an actor yet? It's possible that one of these two women is playing Emma Arryn and the other is playing Jane Arryn, because they look like they could be sisters, as opposed to aunt niece. So keep an eye on Amber Anderson. Also, we have, and also the fact that now, it used to be a stretch when I go, Emily Carey and Millie Alcock are following this person who we think they're cast members, but we're not sure. It was like 2 degrees removed, where an actor we think has been cast is following this person, therefore I think they've been cast. Wasn't as solid. Now we need to reevaluate that Millie Alcock and or Emily Carey following someone carries a lot more weight now that they have been cast. So we have Isabella Pappas, followed by Emily Carey and Ty Tennant, who we think is Aegon II, and in turn following Olivia Cooke. Relatively short at 5'3", age 19. Could she be playing a younger version of some other character? And again, would she be early in the season playing a younger version of one of Rhaenyra's contemporaries? Or is this like young Joanna Lannister? Or is it Helena, the sister wife of Aegon II? Harder to say, but a relatively young, short person. Isaac Gryn, followed by Millie Alcock and following Olivia Cooke, age 22. Does he look kind of like Fabian Frankel? Now, Fabian Frankel is 27. Would this be a younger Kristen? I really don't know. And he's really just a theater actor, but they follow each other pretty regularly. Sophia Petit, followed by Millie Alcock, Emily Carey, and Ty Tennant, age 18. But mostly a theater actor and hasn't really done that much. Louis Partridge, followed by Emily Carey and Fabian Frankel, has appeared in photos with both, and with Millie. That might be someone to look out for, Louis Partridge. Bethany Antonia, this is an interesting one, because I said when race comes in, that's a relatively more, when it's more specific, it's easier to follow. Bethany Antonia is followed by both Millie Alcock and Emily Carey, and is following Olivia Cook. And she is a 24-year-old, relatively light-skinned black woman. Could she be playing young Lena Velaryon? It's possible that my earlier prediction was wrong and she actually is Lena Velaryon, another candidate for that. I thought it's this other actress, Mendon Rurer, because Emma Darcy is following her. Maybe this person could be playing Elena, because now we know there are at least 2 different age brackets that will appear in season 1. Rhaenyra and Alicent as teenagers, and Rhaenyra and Alicent in their early 20s. So could Bethany here be young Elena? She relatively looks the way Elena, TV Elena is supposed to be mixed race like that, would look. I'm not sure. We have another actor, Doug Rao. This someone pointed this out to me, who is followed by Graham McTavish. And I wouldn't normally report him, just, well, Graham follows a lot of people. Doug Rao suspiciously posted a photo in his feed at a beach in Cornwall around the same time as the Cornwall shoot was happening. But he's 47 years old, same age as Paddy Considine. And then you get into the speculation of, well, is he just a guardsman? Sometimes people are just friends with the secondary cast who just play guardsmen or messengers with speaking lines. Could he be Boros Baratheon? Also possible, given that, Graham McTavish is, maybe he's in the Kingsguard. A lot of people think he's Harold Westerling. Maybe he's Luther Largent, who's also known for his height. This actor's 5'11". Maybe he's a new character who's like a messenger from the Triarchy of the Free Cities that we don't know. So, and all that's speculative. I already recorded a separate video I'm going to post that I think this other actor named Dean Weir has been cast. And cross-referencing spy photos with his age, I think he might be Harwin Strong. That's just a guess. So the guessing game is a little more complicated now when we have to deal with there are at least 2 age brackets of, at least 2 versions of every character, plus setting up characters who are going to be even younger when the dance happens, like Allie Blackwood, Joanna Lannister, that they have to set that up. So there's only 3 different ranges we're looking for. Still, this is really interesting. I'm grinning that, oh man, I was right. I managed to guess this based on their Instagram follows. Well, me and all the other, all the fans believing in the cause who helped me out with this, everyone on Instagram who's been sending this, VK Glenn, everyone else, thank you. Yes, this is actually working, and we're piecing together which actors are this. I'd be so frustrated if we never got any hits with this. But yeah, we've managed to accurately guess 3 new cast members. So if you haven't already, please check out my other ones, such as the Jane Aaron one, wondering, yeah, I'm really wondering about that now. Is this Amber Anderson going to do that? And Millie will do Emma, I'm not sure. Check out the Ty Tennant one, because I think it's now all but assured that he's playing Aegon II, because he's following so many of these people and they're following him. As a side note, if you're wondering why my voice sounds a little different, this week, a new company bought the recording software Audacity, which a lot of people use to record podcasts. It's what I use. I use Audacity. And the new company that bought them out wants to sell users private data to ad agencies. Big Data wants to buy it up and use all of our stuff. And they changed their licensing agreement so they can use all of your data without your permission and stuff. It's this whole scandal. Google it, the Audacity Big Data scandal that went on this week. So me and the other YouTubers for Game of Thrones stuff, we were really worried about this and asking around, well, what do we do now? A lot of us use Audacity. And Gray Area, who's very nice, Gray Area said, well, as an alternative to Audacity, you can use Zoom. Zoom has a pretty good free recorder. So I have recorded this video with Zoom's audio instead. And I don't know what this is going to sound like. I'm really nervous. Please tell me in the comments, how does my voice compare to prior videos you've heard me in? If you're one of my regulars, that Is this good? Should I keep using the Zoom audio recorder like this? Because I'm uncomfortable still using Audacity because they're mining all of our data like that. So please help me out by sharing that in the comments below. Just how does this new recording software match up?